So you're thinking about lifting your Jeep Cherokee. Well, you got a couple options in the back, which is where we're going to be talking about today. Your first option, which I think is the worst option, I think a lot will agree, would be a lift block. The lift block goes right between the springs and the axle, right in here, and basically just drops the axle down from the spring, giving you your lift. Now, people don't like this because that can lead to axle wrap, which is the axle twisting back and forth, and it can also put extra stress on these U-bolts, which are what holds the spring to the axle. Now that is a cheap option, it does work, but it's not really the best. Now your next option is back here where the swing shackle is. You can put on an extended swing shackle that is this piece right here. Basically drops the bolt down, lowers the spring, drops the axle, gives you some lift. Now that's a good option, but a possible problem with that is that will change your pinion angle on the differential, which can lead to vibrations, possibly. Now another option is buy a different spring pack, put that in. That's a really good option. A different spring pack is going to give you good performance, brand new springs, extra suspension travel possibly. Now issues with that though, you have to remove this big bolt here, which is going to be nice and rusty, and you have to remove this bolt up here at the front, which has a captured nut in the frame, and you can break the bolt, you can have the nut attach itself from the frame, so that can lead to some headaches. And your other option is an add a leaf or a bastard pack, as they call it, and that's where you either buy an extra leaf to stick in, or you buy some leaves off of something like a Chevy S10, a Jeep Comanche, a Dodge Dakota. I've gone with the Chevy S10 leaves, and I've got the top leaf from the Cherokee, the top leaf from the S10 with the eyes cut off, and the third from the top leaf from the S10, which is the one that has these, I guess you can't see that one, it has these spring clamps on it. Now I like this setup better because the top S10 leaf extends out nice and far, which gives the top Cherokee leaf a lot of support, and these clamps here are nice and heavy duty. They're not going to be breaking or anything. So I like that option, and it's going to save you some money because you get the S10 leaves from a junkyard, so it's obviously a lot cheaper than buying brand new spring packs. Now, this combination is giving me 2 inches of lift, so if you're looking for more than 2 inches of lift, you're probably going to want to go with a different combination. Also, if you're going for the bastard pack combo, I wouldn't add another leaf to this and go for more lift because of your shocks. Now a lot of people will say put on longer shocks, but when you unbolt the shock down there and then let the axle drop out further, it only drops out 1 inch further before it's limited by the leaf springs. So putting on a shock that's more than 1 inch longer isn't going to do anything because the leaf spring limits it at 1 inch below where these shocks limit it. Now we're on the other side, and another thing you're probably going to have to worry about is your brake line. You can remove the brake line from the frame up here. It's held on by this little tab, which clips in here. So all you need to do is pull that out, and then the brake line can come out of this tab. And then you can drop the axle down far enough, and you won't damage your brake line, hopefully. Now, one last thing, if you're putting on new shocks, you're probably going to want to put on new bump stops, because your old bump stops probably aren't really there anymore. Do not do something like this, because the axle can never reach this, because the shock bottom's out long before the axle will ever reach this. The bump stop needs to be a good 3 or 4 inches off the frame before the axle can even reach it. This is only going to be really important if you're actually going to do any off-roading. If you're only lifting your Jeep to make it a mall crawler, you don't really have to worry about the bump stops, because you're never going to be traveling, have that much travel.